Feminism in English is feminism, comes from Latin femina or woman. Literary meaning is having the qualities of female. There are three definitions of feminism according to some experts. The first, according to James 1998, feminism is grounded on the belief that women are oppressed or disadvantaged by comparison with men, and that their oppression is in way illegitimate or unjust. The second, according to Hooks 1989, also said the feminism as liberation struggle must exist apart from and as a part of the larger struggle or eradicate domination in all these forms. So the last, according to Spellman 1988, also state an argument of feminism that no woman is subject to any form of oppression simply because she is a woman, which form of oppression she is subject to depend on what kind of woman she is. In a world in which a woman might be subject to racism, classism, of homophobia, anti-Semitism, if she is not so subject, it is because of her race, class, religion, sexual orientation. So it can never be the case that the treatment of a woman has only to do with her gender or nothing to do with her class or race.
The feminist movement began at the end of the 18th century and developed rapidly throughout the 20th century, which began with equalization of political rights for women. Mary Wollstonecraft's vindication of the rights of women, considered one of earliest feminist writings that contains criticism of the French Revolution, which only applies to men but not to women. A century later, in Indonesia, Raden Ajeng Kartini contributed to her thought on criticism of the situation of Japanese women who were not given the opportunity to taste an education equal to men, apart from criticism of Dutch colonialism. At the end of the 20th century, the feminist movement was widely seen as the splinter of the critical legal studies movement, which in essence gave much criticism to the legal logic that have been used, the manipulative nature and legal depends on politics, economics, the rule of law in shaping patterns of social relations, and the formation of hierarchy by law provision is not fundamental. Although feminist opinions are pluralistic, one thing that unites is their belief that society and the legal order are patriarchal. The rule of law that is said to be neutral and objective is often just a cover for political and social consideration, driven by the ideology of decision makers, and the ideology is not for the benefit of women. Patriarchy in society and legal provision are the cause of injustice, domination, and subordination to women. So, as the consequence are demands for gender equality. Gender equality can't be achieved within the current ideological institutional structure.
The first is liberal feminism. This movement emerged in the early 18th centuries, along with the birth of Enlightenment. The demand is freedom and equality to access to education, law reform that is discriminatory. The rationale of this is rationalist views and the separation of private and public space, so that liberal feminism fight for equal opportunities for even individuals, including women. The second is traditional Marxist feminism. This movement is based on Marxist theory, where adherents fight for the resistance to the socio-economic system that exploit women, and the oppression of women is part of class oppression in the production system. As the proletarian revolution succeed in undermining the class system, the oppression of women is predicted to disappear.
And the next is radical feminism. This movement refers to the concept of biological essentialism, or a difference in a biological essence, an approach that anything related to male beings is negative and oppressive. Adherents of this school also reject to the existence of family institutions both theoretically and practically. The fourth is the Socialist feminism. This movement is a synthetic of a radical and Marxist feminism movement. This movement assumes that women are exploited by two things, namely the patriarchal and capitalist system. Socialist feminism belies the capitalistic relations that are full of inequality tend to place women in subordinate position. However, for socialist feminism, capitalism is not the sole actor of all forms of oppressions that is present, and before women, socialist feminism states that the solution of gender oppression caused by the marriage of capitalism and patriarchy is the appreciation of women's work, both in the private sector and public. Okay, the next.
The next is ecofeminism. This movement focuses its view on analyzing feminine quality and sharply criticize the flow of other feminism, liberal, radical, Marxist, and socialist, by saying that gender injustice is not solely caused by socio-cultural construction but also by intrinsic factors. The next is Third World Women's Movement. The complex condition of post-colonial women made this movement have priority over what was done. For example, imperialism, expression of the nation, class, race and ethnicity, Then many several aspects that influenced the emergence of the feminism movement. The first is the political aspect. The political aspect is the aspect when the American proclaimed independence in 1776. The American Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal, without mentioning the woman. The second is the religious aspects. Consider the courts places women inferior because both Protestant and Catholic religions place women in a lower position than men. The third and the last is aspect of the concept of socialism and Marxism. This aspect depart from the mind federate angels who put or husband is a bourgeois and his wife represents the proletariat.
Good day, my name is Gloxirat Pangaben and I am from English Literature A 2019. I will explain you about critic feminism and their types. Actually, critic feminism is one of study in literature that focus on women, about how women like this, how women like this, how they are in their sociality and psychology, and there are some types of critic feminism. The first one is critic ideology. It talks about how women brings their characters, how women can be misleading by other people. And then the second one is Gynocritics. It talks about the difference between how women rights and how men rights. It's talk about the different, mostly about the different. And then the third one is Socialist feminism. It talks more about their sociality, about how women inside of socialists and how women want to tell how their life that can be beat by the gender. And then the fourth one is feminist psychoanalytics. It talks about how women place themselves, how women show themselves to the story, how a characters can be shown in the story. And then the fifth is lesbian feminism. It talks in a smart way about what is lesbian in feminism and how can it be implied in the story itself. And then the last one is feminism in etnic feminism. It talks about how the authors can be affected by their ethnic. Is there any relationship about what are they right and their ethnic? It's talk about the relationship about it. Okay, so that what can I explain about critic feminism? Thank you.
Now guys, we come to the end of this video. The conclusion is feminism in literature adapted from real life. Yeah, real life. In this world, and until now, there is a feminism movement. Feminism was originally named used to social movement in New York at the 1840s by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and her friend Susan B. Anthony. At the beginning, feminism carries all women's rights, all women's right to choose. At the beginning, woman is prohibited to choose. So, we conclude that in feminism theory, women and men are equal. There's no statement that men are higher than women, or women higher than men. In the feminism theory support their rights to have the same right with men. So men and women are equal. That is in feminism theory. There is many types of feminism. We know that from the previous video explained by my friend. And there is many movements. There is many criticism in feminism. I think that's all. Thank you guys for watching this video. We hope this video will benefit for you. And thank you for our lecturer, Mimi Andayani, as our lecturer in prose appreciation. See you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.